Right now, somewhere in your bathroom, there's a plastic bottle with a pump on top. You pressed it this morning without thinking. A pale blob landed in your palm. You rubbed it across your skin, and within 60 seconds, your body was, according to the label, clean. The whole ritual took less time than boiling water for coffee. You didn't question it. Nobody does. It's soap. It's so ordinary it's invisible. Now erase it. Erase the bottle, the lather, the hot water, the drain. Erase every cleaning product ever manufactured. Go back 200,000 years. Your skin is still generating oil, still sweating, still shedding dead cells into folds and creases. Bacteria are still arriving. Billions of them every single day, and there is no soap. There won't be for another 195,000 years. So the question is almost embarrassingly simple. For nearly the entire duration of our species, with no soap, no disinfectant, no running water, how did human beings not rot? Here's the part that makes the answer so uncomfortable for modern ears. They didn't just survive without soap. In some critical ways, their skin may have been healthier than yours is right now. Bacteria. Your skin is home to roughly 1 trillion microorganisms. That's not a metaphor. Right now, on every square centimeter of your forearm, there are about 1 million bacterial cells living in the thin film of oil your sebaceous glands produce. And here's what nobody tells you about that invisible colony. Most of them are working for you. Your skin's microbiome, that ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, and viruses coating your body, is not a problem your ancestors needed to solve. It was the solution. Sebum, that oily substance your skin produces naturally, contains fatty acids that are actively antimicrobial. They kill harmful bacteria on contact. Your body was manufacturing its own defense long before any chemist figured out surfactants. In 2009, researchers at the National Institutes of Health mapped the bacterial diversity on human skin and found organisms from 205 different genera across 19 separate phyla. A rainforest of microscopic life, most of it beneficial. Your ancestors carried a version of this ecosystem that was likely even richer. Studies comparing the microbiomes of modern hunter-gatherer populations to industrialized people consistently find the same pattern. Less soap means more microbial diversity. More diversity means more resilience. Think about that for a second. The thing we spend billions of dollars removing from our bodies every year might be one of the things keeping us alive. And this is where it gets actually insane. There's a chemical engineer named Dave Whitlock, MIT-trained, serious credentials, who stopped showering entirely in 2003. Not as some stunt, as an experiment. He'd observed that animals roll in dirt and mud not randomly, but to coat themselves in ammonia-oxidizing bacteria, microorganisms that eat the ammonia in sweat and convert it into nitrite and nitric oxide, compounds that are actually beneficial for skin. Whitlock reasoned that humans once carried these bacteria too, and that modern soap strips them away. He went over 12 years without a traditional shower. His skin didn't deteriorate. He didn't get sick. He didn't smell. Your body was never defenseless. You were born with armor. But here's the thing that doesn't make sense until you think about it. If the microbiome handled bacteria, what about actual dirt? Mud, dust, dried blood from a hunt, plant residue from foraging. The physical grime of living outside, on the ground, in constant contact with the earth. Soap wasn't the first cleaning technology. It wasn't even the 10th. Water came first. Rivers, lakes, rain. And water alone is more effective than most people realize. It dissolves salt, carries away loose particulate matter, and rinses the water-soluble waste products of sweat. Your ancestors bathed. Frequently. The archaeological record of the Indus Valley Civilization, dating to around 2600 BC, includes the Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro, one of the earliest known public bathing structures. But that's civilization. Go back further. Go to the rivers where hunter-gatherers camped deliberately, choosing sites near flowing water not just for drinking but for washing. And when water wasn't enough, they improvised. Sand, rough leaves, handfuls of fine clay rubbed across the skin and rinsed off. A natural abrasive that pulled oil and dead cells away mechanically. The principle is identical to exfoliation. Your body sheds between 600,000 and 1 million skin cells per hour. That constant shedding is itself a cleaning mechanism. Your skin literally throws away its contaminated outer surface and replaces it from below every 2 to 4 weeks. Your ancestors didn't need soap to exfoliate. Their skin was already doing it. Now, here's where the story takes a turn nobody expects. Some cultures discovered soap-like chemistry thousands of years before the first bar was pressed. Across Africa, the Americas, and Asia, indigenous peoples identified plants containing saponins, natural compounds that foam in water and behave almost identically to synthetic surfactants. Yucca root, soapwort, the berries of sapindus trees. Crush them, add water, and you get lather. You get something that cuts grease and lifts grime. The U.S. Forest Service documents dozens of Native American cultures using saponin-rich plants for washing skin, hair, and clothing. This wasn't soap, but it did what soap does. And then there's ash. Wood ash mixed with water creates a mildly alkaline solution, essentially a primitive lye. Ancient Egyptians bathed in vegetable oils mixed with wood ash as early as 1500 BC. The chemistry of saponification, fat plus alkali equals soap, was being stumbled into independently across the world, thousands of years before anyone wrote a recipe. When Babylonian scribes finally did write one down on clay tablets around 2800 BC, cassia oil mixed with wood ash, they weren't inventing something new. They were recording what humans had already figured out through sheer trial and error. Nobody taught your ancestors chemistry. They reverse engineered it from observation. But here's the part that changes everything about how you think about cleanliness. Not all solutions were chemical. Some were architectural. The Himba people of northern Namibia live in an arid climate with almost no access to running water. Their solution, a paste called Otjize, butterfat mixed with red ochre pigment, applied daily across skin and hair. It functions as sunscreen, insect repellent, and antimicrobial barrier simultaneously. They pair this with smoke baths. Aromatic herbs like commiphora placed on hot coals, the smoke allowed to envelop the body. The heat opens pores. The smoke carries antimicrobial compounds that kill parasites and bacteria. The fragrant residue masks scent from insects. No water, no soap, completely clean. And this points to a deeper truth about early human hygiene, one that modern marketing has worked very hard to make you forget. Cleanliness was never a single product. It was a system. Water for rinsing, abrasives for scrubbing, plant compounds for cutting grease, smoke for disinfecting, oils for protecting, and underneath all of it, a living microbiome doing most of the heavy lifting without any intervention at all. The Greeks understood this intuitively. Before soap became common in the Mediterranean, the standard practice was to coat the body in olive oil after bathing, then scrape it off with a curved bronze tool called a strigil. The oil bonded with dirt, dead skin, and sweat. The strigil removed everything in one pass. It was elegant. It was effective. And it left the skin's natural oils largely intact, something modern soap absolutely does not do. Think about that for a second. We've replaced a system that worked with the microbiome with one that works against it, and then we sell products to fix the damage. And here's the final piece. The one that sits underneath everything else. The reason your ancestors survived without soap isn't that they were tougher or dirtier or less evolved. It's that their bodies were never designed to need it. Human skin is a self-maintaining organ. It produces its own moisturizer. It sheds its own contamination. It cultivates its own defensive bacteria. It synthesizes its own antimicrobial compounds. Valerie Curtis, a researcher at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, published work showing that disgust, that gut-level revulsion you feel toward rotting things, feces, visible contamination, is itself an evolved hygiene mechanism. It predates language. It predates culture. Even nematode worms with only 302 neurons can detect and avoid pathogenic bacteria. Hygiene isn't something humans invented. It's something evolution hardwired into animal life billions of years before the first hominid walked upright. Your body came preloaded with the software. Soap is just a patch. So let's pull it all together. Your ancestors faced every contamination the world could throw at a naked primate: mud, blood, parasites, bacteria, rot, dust, the biological chaos of living outdoors without shelter for millennia. And they answered it with a system so layered it's almost impossible to believe it was improvised. The microbiome handled bacterial threats from the inside. Sebum waterproofed and protected from the outside. Water rinsed what was soluble. Sand and clay scraped what wasn't. Saponin plants cut grease. Wood ash dissolved fat. Smoke killed parasites. Ochre and oil formed barriers. And the skin itself, shedding, regenerating, cycling through its surface every few weeks, continuously replaced whatever got too dirty to save. They didn't have soap. But they had something better. They had a body that was built across millions of years of pressure and adaptation to keep itself viable in a world that was constantly trying to break it down. And now you stand in a tiled room each morning, stripped of your microbiome by a chemical surfactant, and you apply moisturizer to replace the oils you just washed away, and probiotic skincare to restore the bacteria you just killed. You have rebuilt, at enormous cost, a lesser version of what your ancestors carried for free. That number on the soap bottle, the pH, the chemical formulation, the patented blend. It's an engineering solution to a problem your body already solved. You just forgot it had. 200,000 years of skin, keeping itself clean in silence. You never needed to be rescued from your own biology.